It's 2021. A Ring doorbell camera flickers to life outside a home in Detroit, Michigan, and what it captures is disturbing. A masked figure, gloves on, moving slowly, deliberately, trying to get inside. This wasn't a random stranger. The woman who owned that home recognized him immediately. She posted the footage online. It spread fast. People watched it, they commented, they shared it, but very few understood what they were actually looking at.
Jemere, you breaking in my house? Like, are you serious? You breaking in my house, Jemere?
Why would I break in your house?
Why are you at my door with gloves on and all that?
Because that masked man at the door wasn't just an obsessive ex. He was something far more dangerous. And 2 years later, that danger would catch up to Patrice Wilson in the worst way imaginable.
According to Detroit police, Patrice Wilson was leaving her overnight shift outside a Detroit medical center when this suspect, Jemere Miller, approached her wearing a blonde wig. Saturday, we spoke to Wilson's mother, Rosalind Livingston, who at the time told us,
I got a call. Someone said they were talking to Patrice on the phone and they heard her screaming.
Her daughter's phone went dead after that. Detroit police said Miller approached Wilson as she was getting into the driver's side of her car and forced her over, then fled with her inside. Livingston revealed to us that Miller was her daughter's ex-boyfriend, and he was obsessive. Here's what she had to say on Saturday.
The more she pulled away, he was sending flowers. If you go by her house, there's things at her door that she kind of like left there to let him know that I'm not accepting things from you.
Wilson's mother also shared with us that Patrice was very smart, and so she was holding out hope that her daughter may be able to talk her way out of the situation. But tragically, we now know that Wilson was shot and killed and found in the trunk of her own car Sunday morning. This is the second child Rosalind Livingston has lost, and this time, heartbreakingly, she lost her daughter on Mother's Day. Livingston described her daughter Patrice as quiet, studious, and a good mother. She said she was leaving work Saturday to take a nap and go to her second job.
Hospital surveillance cameras had caught a figure lurking, wearing a long blonde wig, a hat, glasses, a mask, and carrying a backpack. Waiting, watching.
I want to show you never-before-seen security camera video of a terrifying, deadly domestic violence, kidnapping, and murder. You're looking at the outside of Detroit Receiving Hospital the morning of May 13th. Look at that person lingering around the outside. Hat on, mask over his face, and a long blonde wig. Prosecutors and police say that is 36-year-old Jemere Miller carrying out his alleged plan to abduct his ex-girlfriend nurse, Patrice Wilson. Miller knows where Wilson works. He knows when she gets off from work. He waits and hunts for her. There's Wilson as she's walking out to her car after working all night. He is in hiding and then runs in for his attack. Her attacker speeding away, driving her Lincoln SUV. Wilson was later found stuffed in the trunk of that SUV. She had been shot to death.
What most people didn't know was that Patrice was carrying something heavy, something she hadn't told a single soul. On December 1st, 2021, the same year that doorbell footage went viral, Patrice opened her phone and typed a note to herself. A private note, something she never spoke out loud. It read, "I'm in love with a man who hurt the mother of his child." Let that sit for a moment. She knew. She had somehow connected the dots on something that authorities hadn't publicly confirmed. And yet she carried that knowledge alone. Welcome to Caught in the Web True Crime Stories. Kindly support us by subscribing to this channel and turn the notification icon. 12 years earlier, in March of 2011, a 24-year-old woman named Bianca Green went missing from the Romulus and Inkster area. She was a nursing student. She was the mother of a 4-year-old boy named Jemere Jr., and at the time of her disappearance, she was believed to be several weeks pregnant with a second child. Bianca's family had said for years that she would never have walked away from her son voluntarily. They described a woman who had spent an entire year trying to get away from her boyfriend, who had moved and kept her location hidden from him because she was afraid. Her boyfriend at the time? Jemere Miller. He was questioned back in 2011. He even appeared in a public video holding his son, asking people to help find Bianca. He was never charged. But when Patrice's case broke open, Detroit's police chief confirmed that investigators were now working with Romulus police to re-examine Bianca's disappearance, because the parallels were impossible to ignore. Bianca, nursing student; Patrice, nurse. Both mothers, both in their 20s, both trying to leave Jemere Miller, both gone.
Some things have come to light, and apparently Miller is tied to another missing woman from back in 2011.
It's freaky.
When news spread last weekend that 36-year-old Jemere Miller was wanted in connection to the kidnapping and murder of local nurse Patrice Wilson, it hit differently for this family.
Jemere, the grandson, say, "Ma, Daddy on TV." They was sitting in the living room, and he was watching TV, and he was on the news.
Jemere Miller Sr. is linked to a missing nursing student, 24-year-old Bianca Green, who went missing in 2011, last seen in Inkster. She was pregnant. Miller and Bianca had dated and have a child together, Jemere Jr. Here is Miller at a Crime Stoppers press conference back then, holding their son.
It's hard being a single father, and it's hard for me to even tell him what's going on.
We ain't never give up hope, but we was trying to give Jemere the benefit of the doubt.
But now, after 12 years, this family is questioning everything after learning Miller was arrested in connection to Patrice's death. She was found shot to death in the trunk of her car in Novi after being kidnapped leaving for work at Detroit Receiving Hospital Saturday. In Bianca's case, family always suspected foul play. You know she wouldn't have left Jemere Jr.
She wouldn't have never left Jemere. That was her, like her Velcro. She wouldn't have never left her son.
Miller has an extensive criminal history for gun and drug charges, assault, drunk driving, and running from police. He was questioned but never charged in Bianca's disappearance. Romulus police, who led that case, did not respond to our calls to see if the case will now be re-examined.
Patrice LaToya Wilson was born on August 1st, 1993, right here in Detroit, Michigan. And by every measure, she was building something beautiful. She earned her nursing degree from Oakland University, became a registered nurse at Detroit Receiving Hospital, part of the Detroit Medical Center, and rose through the ranks. She was a proud member of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. She was sharp, driven, and deeply loved by everyone around her. But more than anything else, Patrice was a mother. Her 7-year-old son, Tyrese, was her entire world. She worked overnight shifts so she could give him the life she envisioned. Her own mother, Rosalind Livingston, also worked at that same hospital. They weren't just family, they were colleagues, side by side, every single day. In December of 2019, Patrice and her closest friend, Deandra Brown, co-founded a platform called Nursing from the D, built to celebrate Detroit nurses, connect them, and showcase the joy in their work. That was who Patrice was, someone who poured into her community even when she didn't have to. She had a career, she had a purpose, she had plans, and she had a son who needed her to come home every morning. For roughly 3 years, Patrice had been in an on and off relationship with a man named Jemere Michael Miller. He lived in Inkster, Michigan, and his record with law enforcement stretched back years. Weapon charges, assault, substance charges, DUI, domestic violence. This was not a man new to the system, and by the time their relationship began to fracture, his behavior made it crystal clear that he had no intention of letting go. When Patrice made the decision to end things, Jemere refused to accept it. He started showing up uninvited. Flowers and gifts began appearing at her front door, but Patrice didn't throw them away. She left every single one right there on that doorstep, untouched. That was a message, a deliberate, silent statement that said, "I want nothing from you." Fast forward to early 2023. In February, Michigan authorities searched Jemere's apartment and found weapons and substances, leading to 14 separate charges against him. He was already on probation in Washtenaw County. He was also out on bond in Wayne County for a separate offense. He was stacking cases, stacking violations, and still moving freely. And then in late April and early May of 2023, Jemere did something that disturbed people who would later look back at it. He created a Facebook album titled Me and P, P being his nickname for Patrice. He uploaded hundreds of photos and videos. Some were of them as a couple on outings, but others were mundane, private moments. Patrice cooking, Patrice sleeping, Patrice simply existing in her own home. He uploaded over 175 items, and he captioned one photo, "I'll rather try hard than give up, real man." This was a man who had been told repeatedly, in every way possible, that this relationship was over, and he was responding with an archive, a public declaration that in his mind, it wasn't. On May 13th, 2023, Mother's Day weekend, Patrice finished her overnight shift at Detroit Receiving Hospital. It was somewhere between 7:40 and 7:53 in the morning. She walked out toward the employee parking lot, phone to her ear, talking to a friend. What she didn't know was that someone had been in that parking lot for nearly 2 hours before she stepped outside. Hospital surveillance cameras had caught a figure lurking, wearing a long blonde wig, a hat, glasses, a mask, and carrying a backpack. Waiting, watching. Patrice walked to her car, and that figure moved toward her from the passenger side. He shot her. Then he climbed into the driver's seat and sped off with her inside. The friend on the phone heard Patrice scream, and then the line went completely silent. That man was Jemere Miller. Detroit police launched an urgent search. Jemere's image was distributed everywhere. Local news, social media, every channel they had. That same afternoon, around 2 p.m., officers were notified that Patrice's vehicle had been located at an apartment complex near Haggerty and 9 Mile Road in Novi, Michigan. That complex wasn't random. It was Patrice's own apartment building. Jemere had driven her 30 miles from the hospital where she saved lives to the home where she raised her son. When officers searched the vehicle, they found Patrice in the rear of the car. She had lost her life. Between leaving the hospital and arriving in Novi, surveillance footage showed Jemere at a car wash in Inkster, no longer wearing the wig, the hat, or the mask, cleaning the vehicle. On May 14th, under the weight of an investigation that had entire divisions of law enforcement closing in, Jemere Miller negotiated his surrender through his attorney and turned himself in.
After several search warrants were executed, the suspect, feeling the pressure of this investigation, due to all of the search warrants, all of the activities by those agencies that I just identified, the suspect negotiated his surrender via his lawyer, and he was taken into custody at the DDC at 2:15 p.m.
On October 10th, 2023, Jemere Miller pleaded guilty to 1 count of second-degree homicide. 10 additional charges were dismissed as part of a plea agreement, carrying a sentence of 35 to 60 years. At the sentencing hearing before Judge Kevin Cox, Patrice's family stood up and looked Jemere Miller in the face. Her mother, Rosalind, spoke through her attorney. She told the court about finding that note in Patrice's phone, dated December 1st, 2021, and she asked the judge to show no mercy to the man who had taken her daughter from her children, from her community, from her future.
Me, I'm the one that you should have met. Really, should have been me. Why did you do this to my child? Why did you do this to my family? Why? Why? How would you like somebody to do that to your mama or your sister? Huh? You think they would like it? You ain't fit to live. And sad, but it's real. Because I don't believe that people should take other people's life. Not like that. It's not right. Don't you understand? Should have been me. Should have been me instead of her. I gave you your match. Trust me. I'm glad I'll never see you again, because I'll be too. I wanted life. You should have gotten life. Like my daughter was, she felt sorry for it. It was left up to me. You'd have gotten life. I wouldn't have been here to see it. And I'm not going to be here when you get up. But I hope somebody will touch you. You know what I'm talking about.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson.
Patrice's best friend and cousin, Khalees Thomas, told Jemere directly, "You will forever be known as a murderer." And Tyrese Berry, the father of Patrice's son, stood before that courtroom and said something that silenced the room.
I told her about you. She still trusted you. Every time you sent the little threats, I told her every time, don't be scared of him. You don't do that to men. You never did that to men. It's nobody in this world that is scared of you as a man, bro. You scare women. But you were scared of her because she wasn't scared of you. And that's what you did. But see, my son got closure. He know what you did. He know. He know. But do your son got closure? Do your son got closure for what you did? You man enough to tell everybody what you did to my baby mama. What did you do to yours? You got your people here. You got your mama here. You embarrass your family for life. For what? You risked it for this? You put on a wig. A wig. Why is you hard? You still acting like you hard? You cannot act like you hard, bro. You crying yourself to sleep. You miss Patrice so much. Yeah, you shaking your head. That's right. That's right.
He looked at Jemere and asked, "Do your son got closure? Do your son got closure for what you did to mine?" And then he turned to Bianca's memory and asked, "What did you do to yours?" Judge Kevin Cox sentenced Jemere Michael Miller to 35 to 60 years in the Michigan Department of Corrections.
The defendant in his pre-sentence report made a comment about this offense. And his comment about this was that it was unnecessary and should not have happened. The people agree that that statement on the part of the defendant is 100% accurate. That statement is 100% accurate. This was a crime that never should have happened because he never should have went to Detroit Receiving Hospital that morning. But he did. Out of jealousy, out of anger, we don't know. But he went there with a purpose. He went there to stalk Patrice. He went there to ambush her, and he did. 35 years isn't enough for somebody's life. It isn't. I agree with Ms. Golston. But it is a reasonable plea, given the circumstances of the case, given his guidelines, and I ask the court to impose that 35 to 60-year sentence that the people and the defendant have agreed to.
In the aftermath, Patrice's mother established the Patrice L. Wilson Scholarship, awarded every year on Mother's Day weekend to nursing students who are also mothers. Because that is exactly who Patrice was. Nursing from the D, the platform she built with Deandra Brown, is still active, still posting, still celebrating the nurses of Detroit in Patrice's name. Bianca Green has still not been found. Her case remains open. Jemere Miller has not been charged in connection with her disappearance. Patrice Wilson was 30 years old. She was a nurse. She was a mother. She saw the danger coming, documented it, and still couldn't outrun it. If you're watching this and something in this story feels familiar, please reach out for help. The most dangerous moment in an abusive relationship is often the moment you try to leave. You don't have to navigate that alone. If you found value in today's story, like, comment, and subscribe to Caught in the Web. Share this story. Say her name. Patrice Wilson, never forgotten.